today we are talking about radioimmunoassay. Now it's a type of immunoassay which means it is based on antigen-antibody interaction. The detection is based on the formation of antigen-antibody complex, and it is radio. That means it utilizes the property of radioactivity. Right, detection of this antigen-antibody complex based on the radioactivity, so it is called radioimmunoassay. Now radioimmunoassay was developed in 1960 by Burson and Yellow, and it is one of the most sensitive immunoassay that we have. It can detect the substance from nanogram to even picogram concentration. So it's really sensitive immunoassay. Now it is useful for detection of substances like hormones, vitamins, serum proteins, drugs, infective agents such as hepatitis B antigen in the serum sample. So it can detect the substance, right? So it is definitely a type of qualitative analysis where it will tell us whether the test will be as simple as either it is positive or negative for whatever substance that we are looking for. And as I said, one of the most sensitive type of immunoassay, that means it measures the quantity of the substance that is present very precisely. So of course it is also quantitative. Alright, so it is qualitative as well as quantitative. So now what we will do is, we'll see first the principle of this assay, and at the end I will show you how we can actually find out the concentration of a substance that we are trying to measure. Alright, let's start with the principle now. Now the radioimmunoassay principle is mainly based on the competitive interaction of two different types of antigen with antibody. Okay, what do I mean by two different types of antigen? Just in a second I'm telling. Now if you guys remember, we have talked about enzyme substrate inhibition, competitive inhibition, where we saw that if there is inhibitor present in the environment which has the same specificity as that of substrate to bind with the enzyme, there will be competition between these two to occupy the active site on the enzyme, right, for the binding site. And if you increase the substrate concentration, eventually it removes the inhibitor from enzyme and it itself will bind with the enzyme. Somewhat similar thing happens over here. Okay, when you have two antigens that are present in the environment which has the same specificity to bind with the antibody, there will be a competition between these two enzymes to occupy the antigen binding site on the antibody. Okay, just go with it, you'll understand in the end what I'm trying to say. So radioimmunoassay utilizes this competitive inhibition between antigen and antibody. And now, as I just said, two types of antigen. Two types as in the antigen would be same over here. Alright, there are no different kinds. Only difference would be one antigen would be of unknown concentration, which is generally our test sample, because we definitely don't know what is the concentration. That's why we are doing all these things. And that antigen would be unlabeled. Right, as it is the sample that we get, we are going to process it. And the next type of antigen would be the same antigen, but that we have made it. So we know the concentration and it is made by us. It is not the test sample. It is radioactively labeled. Now for radioactive label, we have different methods. The common one used is gamma emitting iodine isotope. So here we have two types. That means the antigen which is radioactively labeled, that is what we have made, we know the concentration, and the one which is in the test sample, we don't know the concentration and it is unlabeled. Okay. Now here one thing is there, since we are using two types of antigen, one is there in the sample that we don't know how much it is there, is called cold antigen, and the one which we are having a specific quantity, we are making it radioactively labeled in the lab, is called hot antigen. Now exactly why it is called hot or cold antigen, I have no specific idea. I did search for it a lot, but I could not find anything much on it. What I feel is maybe hot is because it is radioactively labeled, which is a very powerful type of tag, and cold means it has no labeling. If you guys have any idea about it, why it is called so, please comment below and let me know. Now, the first thing in RIA is to make a setup where we can detect this unknown antigen, right? Now let's say, for example, we are looking for some antigen X in the patient's serum sample. Here I'm telling serum sample, it can be any other body fluid also. So we are looking for some antigen X, how much of this is present in the patient's serum. Alright, so now for that what we have to do is, first we want to detect it, right? So we need specific antibodies which are against this antigen X. We need anti-X antibodies, isn't it? And there are ways to get these antibodies. If you want to get specific antibodies against a particular antigen, you inject this antigen in the sheep or rabbit, so as a result of immune response against that antigen, the animal will produce specific antibodies, and then it is harvested and it is used. It's a whole another story, we can talk about it some other time. So we have anti-X antibody, we have got that, plus as I said, for competition we need the same antigen which is radioactively labeled. Alright, now you allow this to interact. While doing so, in this step, what we need to look for is, we want higher amount of this antigen X, label antigen X, than available binding site on the antibodies. What I'm trying to say is, if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, 6 antigen binding sites are there, I would want more than this number of antigen. We have to make sure that the number of antigen or the number of epitopes, if I'm trying to be very specific over here, epitope is nothing but a site on antigen that binds with antibody, right? So number of epitopes are more than number of antigen binding site on antibody. Okay, I hope I'm not confusing. Number of epitopes should be more than the antigen binding site on antibody. So by doing this, we are just making sure that there are limited number or limited antigen binding sites. So when you add the sample, there is going to be competition between this labeled antigen and the test antigen. Alright, so this much is clear. The first step to prepare antibodies against the antigen that we are looking for, and the same antigen. When I say same antigen, don't think that I'm talking about the sample, okay? Same antigen as in, I know I'm working with some sample that has antigen X. I will get that antigen X and make a preparation which is radioactively labeled. Mix both of it. I'll make sure that number of epitopes is more than the antigen binding site, so that there is competition between the test antigen and the radio labeled antigen. Alright, this much is clear. Let's move on to next step. Now, once I have this setup ready, where I have the antibodies bound with the antigen which is labeled, now I will add my sample to it. Okay, one specific quantity I will add. When I say quantity, I don't know how much of this antigen will be present. Okay, I'm talking about the one quantity of a sample, maybe 0.1 ml, 0.2 ml, anything. One specific quantity of sample I'm going to add. Now because this antigen also has a very specific and high affinity towards this antibody, there is going to be competition between this antigen and the labeled antigen for binding site on the antibody, isn't it? And it will try to replace some labeled antigen so that it can occupy the binding site. In this case, I had, say for example, had taken 0.1 ml of sample, and that had 4 antigen in it. It replaced only 2 of the labeled antigen and occupied the site, right? So there is some change. If you compare with the scenario where there was no sample, this will give us high radioactivity compared to a scenario over here, right? Because now there are, instead of 6, only 4 radioactive labeled antigen is there. Okay, I'm talking about the bound part, don't get confused with this free part as of now. Now as you go on increasing the amount of test sample that you add, now I had taken 0.1, now I'll take 0.2 ml, then I will go for maybe 0.4 ml. So as I will increase the amount of test sample, what it is going to do is more number of labeled antigen it is going to remove, because competition will be more. There are more of this test antigen present in the sample to compete and displace this radioactively labeled antigen. So as a result, when I am looking at the bound product that I have, the radioactivity is comparatively decreasing, isn't it? Here there was 6 bound antigen which were labeled. Here there are only 4. Here there is only 1, right? So that means the radioactivity that I am getting as my antigen concentration is increasing, the radioactivity is decreasing. Okay, what we are doing is, whenever we add the sample and allow it to bind, after incubation, you wash this particular setup. So these free antigens would be removed and radioactivity will be count on this bound part. So what is happening when I'm checking the radioactivity of this bound portion? The radioactivity is decreasing as the antigen concentration increases. That means the radioactivity is inversely proportional to my antigen concentration in the sample, isn't it? Because as the antigen concentration increases, the radioactivity decreases. Now here we are talking about solid phase RIA. That means the antibody is immobilized on the surface and the antigen is binding, and we are removing the free antigens from the setup. And we are seeing the radioactivity in the bound portion. You might also read somewhere where you see that collect the supernatant and then check for the radioactivity. That particular amount will give you the direct concentration of antigen, and that is true, because if you look at what is happening over here is, if there is a low concentration in supernatant, radioactivity is low. As you increase the concentration of antigen in the supernatant, the radioactivity will increase because more of the radio labeled antigens are displaced. So in that case, radioactivity is directly proportional to the concentration of antigen. Now to make it easy, nowadays we use solid phase RIA. We immobilize the antibodies to the microtiter well walls, and then we add the sample and we add the labeled antigens, incubate it, wash it, and take the plate and check the radiation in the gamma counter in this case, say for example. So we check for the radioactivity of antibody bound antigen. This is what we are checking, right? We are washing it, removing the free bound antigens, and we are checking this particular step over here. So it will be, the radioactivity will be inversely correlated to the concentration of antigen. Higher the radioactivity, lower the concentration of antigen. Lower the radioactivity, higher the concentration of antigen in the sample. Alright, so now we understood the principle, right? What is happening and how it is going to give us some number. But how we can actually measure what amount is present? Alright, for this let's take an example of hepatitis B antigen. We are trying to see how much of hepatitis B antigen is present in patient's serum. So we'll take a microtiter plate. Now you know microtiter plate is a 96 well plate, right? So here, of course, I'm just for the ease of understanding showing these many wells. So we have taken a microtiter plate, and in the wells we are going to immobilize the antibody in the walls. Alright, so in the base you have antibodies specific against the hepatitis B antigen. because that's what we are trying to measure. And as we saw in the principle, for the competition we also need hepatitis B antigen that is radioactively labeled. Alright, now what we do is, in the first well we will mark it as blank. Blank means everything is there, the setup, except the sample. That is going to act as like, baseline for us with what we can compare our results, right? We need to know that what is the amount of radioactivity without the sample, so that we know where we stand after we add the sample, isn't it? So the blank would be antibody plus only the radio labeled antigen. Now, as we just saw in the principle, the amount of labeled antigen should be more than the available antigen binding site. Alright, so first well will be blank, where we only have antibody and labeled antigen. So that will give us the 100%, if I want to say 100% of radioactivity, because all the antigen binding site would be occupied with this radio labeled antigen. Simple to understand. Now, in order to find out the concentration of this antigen in the sample, let me put it this way. If you guys have done biochemistry practicals, okay, in that if you have performed practicals where you have to find out concentration of particular protein, you have given a particular protein and they will ask you that find out the concentration of this particular protein in the sample. So what generally we used to do, we used to prepare standard of that protein, right? They will tell us what protein it is, but what is the quantity we don't know. So we will prepare standard series for that protein and have different amount of standard react with our whatever chemicals that we have, and in that series we will also take the sample in different quantity, right? So at the end we have a standard graph that we used to look for, and from that standard graph we used to find out the value. Okay, what I'm trying to say is the same thing we are going to use over here, where we know that we are looking for hepatitis B antigen. So we will prepare standard of hepatitis B antigen in increasing concentration. Now here you must be thinking, I haven't told about anything other than these two things, but this is just the principle. How practically we use, that is what I'm trying to show here right now. So now here one more thing is added to find out the quantity is preparation of standard of that particular antigen, because we want to produce a standard graph. And it is unlabeled, of course, because we are going to use it to measure the quantity of a sample. So it has to be same as the sample. So we'll prepare the standard of particular antigen, here in this case hepatitis B antigen, in increasing concentration. Maybe 10 ng, 20, 30, up to 100 we can prepare. Okay, any number or anything that based on your experiment you may have, but increasing amount of concentration should be there so that we can get a standard plot. Alright, so now in all these wells we do have antibody and labeled antigen, first thing, right? So say for example in this well, let's take these three wells. Okay, we have added antibody, labeled antigen, and we are adding our sample. We don't know the concentration, but we know the quantity that we are adding, as we just saw over here, right? 0.1 ml, 0.2 ml. So we can add increased quantity of a sample and allow it to incubate. Along with this, simultaneously we will also take few more wells where we have this antibodies, we have the label antigen, and we will incubate with standard antigen that we prepared in increasing quantity. If we had prepared from 10 to 100, we will make all different wells with 10, 20, 100 concentration of that particular antigen, and then go wash it off. Take the bound antigen antibody for counting the pulses, and you will get at the end a graph for every concentration. It will show what is the radioactivity, something like this. So let's say for example where I had my standard, which was 10 Ng concentration, gave me radioactivity somewhere over here, which is quite high, right? As I kept on increasing the concentration of my standard, you see the radioactivity is decreasing, and that is because, as I said, as you increase the concentration of antigen, it is going to reduce, radioactivity is going to reduce, because more and more number of antigen would replace the labeled antigen, right? Along with these samples, we had also run our unknown sample. We don't know the concentration, right, of that sample. So that sample will produce some amount of radioactivity. Let's say, for example, here the sample had given some radioactivity over here. Alright, and from standard graph what we do is we take the straight line and the corresponding point gives us the concentration of our sample. So the corresponding value over here would give me the concentration of my antigen in the sample. Okay, this is the concentration of hepatitis B antigen in the patient's serum sample. So this is how, by plotting the series, by taking series of standard of particular antigen, we can find out the unknown concentration of antigen in the sample. Okay. So that's all. That's all about radioimmunoassay. I hope this was easy to understand.